September 17th council meeting. We have a very special treat this evening. I'd like you to stand. Our flag salute this evening will be provided by the Girl Scouts from troops 5181, 1744, and 744. Diamond Webb from Troop 744 is going to actually lead us in the flag salute this evening.
Please face the flag. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag for the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, in liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, ladies. Let's give them a hand. Diamond, would you like to introduce the girls?
Yeah.
Or have them introduce themselves?
Yeah. Here you go.
I'm going to tell them your name.
My name is Brooklyn. My name is Hannah. My name is Madeline. My name is Liberty.
Awesome. Let's go over here and stand.
My name is Naima.
My name is Ari. My name is Jade.
Thank you again for being here this evening. Let's give them another hand. Please be seated. It's always such a treat when the little ones come. Bye. Bye. Oh, my goodness. Okay, it's my honor to take a moment to recognize a remarkable milestone for our city. This month marks the 20th anniversary of the Healthy Chino initiative, launched in September of 2004. I'd like to call up Myra Pratt, our Community Services Parks and Recreation Manager, and Brittany Zarkow, our Community Services Parks and Recreation Supervisor, to help us celebrate this momentum occasion. Oh, terrific. We also have community members here that are also involved in Healthy Chino, so come on up. Come on. See, she knows everybody, so you can't hide. What began as a vision to improve the overall health and well-being of our community has now become a cornerstone of Chino's commitment to healthy living. Over the past 2 decades, Healthy Chino has taken a multifaceted approach to health, addressing nutrition, active living, physical and mental health, environmental health, and smart growth. These efforts have created opportunities for residents of all ages to live healthier, more fulfilling lives. One of the many highlights of Healthy Chino is the Chino Community Garden. This green space provides residents with the chance to explore gardening, take part in workshops, and learn about everything from environmental science to nutrition. Whether you're a beginner or have a seasoned green thumb, the garden offers something for everyone. My key phrase. For those who want to get outdoors and explore the natural beauty around Chino, our Hike the Valley program leads community members on staff-guided hikes along local trails. This program is a great way to stay active while discovering the breathtaking scenery that surrounds us. In honor of this 20-year milestone, we will be holding a Healthy Chino 20-year celebration on Saturday, September 21st from 9 to 11 at Liberty Park, located at 11860 Telephone Avenue. A celebration will feature health and wellness vendors who will provide demonstrations, and the first 300 families to register for the Family Fit Challenge will receive a Family Fit kit. I encourage everyone to bring your sneakers and join us for the Healthy Chino History Walk, which will showcase the history of the initiative in a fun and engaging way. For more information about this special event, please visit www.cityofchino.org/Healthy Chino 2020. Or no, Healthy Chino 20. Got that wrong. Okay, and I'd like to present you with this certificate of recognition for Healthy Chino 20th anniversary. Chino City Council wishes you a happy anniversary as you commemorate 2 decades of dedication to the health and wellness of the Chino Valley. There you go.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for your continued support. It really took a group of individuals, including our very own Linda Reich, to come to the table and really look at the health and wellness of our community and start this initiative that still stands 20 years later. Without the partners here, Eileen, you were the coordinator when it first started. Sylvia Avalos, our director, she was a part of that initial team. Ted, supervisor, and many of our partners here. It would not be possible. We do want to encourage folks to attend the event this Saturday that will be hosted at Liberty Park. That will be the start of a year celebration. We will have several mobile stops once every month, so please join us this Saturday for more information. But we definitely want to thank all our partners for their continued support in this vision of having a healthy and well community. Thank you.
Brittany Zarkal, Community Services Parks and Recreation Supervisor.
Rachel Phelps, Community Services Parks and Recreation Coordinator.
Daniel Lins, Government and Community Relations with Kaiser Permanente.
Aileen Dinkjan from San Antonio Regional Hospital, and we'll be there Saturday.
This is Angel Baltazar, and I'm going to go back to, I was the former Healthy Communities from the county that worked with Healthy Chino all those years ago, so thank you.
Hello, Sylvia Avalos, Community Services Director.
Ted Bistarkey, Community Services Parks and Recreation Manager.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Chino was the very first healthy city. And we partnered with Lewis to begin. So we're still doing it. I don't know if any of the other communities are, but ours is the best, definitely. Thank you very much, and we'll see everybody on Saturday. Break in. Okay, City Manager Reich, do we have any agenda additions or revisions?
No changes, Mayor.
Okay. Within our packet, we have information this evening, the external agency report, and also the economic development report for the third quarter of 2024. I encourage you all to visit the website and look at those reports. Under public announcements, on September 21st, this Saturday, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., the City of Chino will be hosting a free compost and mulch giveaway at 5050 Schaefer Avenue. This is a great way to take advantage of the green waste collected curbside, which is then transformed into a soil conditioner. Just a few reminders. It's first come, first served for Chino residents, so please bring your own shovel and durable containers. Masks, gloves, and eye protection are recommended. And be sure to bring your identification and a utility bill. Non-Chino residents are welcome during the last hour of the event. For more details, please call 909-334-3282. Now, we're excited to share that the City of Chino's Community Art Box program is officially underway. This initiative turns utility boxes into vibrant pieces of art created by local artists and students. The first 4 boxes have been revealed around the Civic Center, and we invite anyone interested to participate in this ongoing project. To get involved, bless you, Please visit cityofchino.org/artbox for details on how to submit your designs. It's a fantastic way to showcase your creativity and contribute to our city's beauty. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that we will be adjourning in honor of former Mayor Dennis R. Yates, whose passing has left a profound impact on our city. For over 2 decades, Dennis served our community with unwavering dedication, beginning with his election to the Chino City Council in 1992. His leadership was instrumental in shaping much of our city's growth and development, from the creation of Chaffey College Chino campus and the renovation of downtown to the development of the Carolyn Owens Community Center and the Chino Youth Museum. Dennis's influence extended far beyond Chino. Through his work with the South Coast Air Quality Management District and Omnitrans, he helped shape policies that improved the quality of life for countless residents throughout the region. One of his proudest accomplishments was his dedicated, decades-long involvement in Chino Pop Warner football, where he was a volunteer and mentor. Today, Yates Field at Ayala Park stands as a lasting tribute to his service and dedication. Mayor Yates was a recipient of our city's highest honor, the Spirit of Achievement Award, and his leadership extended far beyond Chino as he held influential positions on regional and state boards, always championing policies that improve the quality of life for all. Dennis was also a proud Vietnam veteran, a devoted husband, father, and grandfather, and a man whose warmth and commitment inspired everyone he worked with. His integrity, leadership, and dedication to Chino will continue to guide us for generations to come. On behalf of the City Council, staff, and the entire Chino community, we extend our deepest condolences to his wife, Rosemary, their children, Doc on it, and grandchildren. As we proceed with tonight's meeting, we do so with the memory of former Mayor Dennis Yates in our hearts, and we will adjourn this evening in his honor. I apologize, but our families were really close, so it's hard to lose someone that you've known for so long. Okay, next on our agenda is public communication. This is the time and the place for the general public to address the council on items that are not elsewhere on our agenda. Our first written request to speak is Pastor Kaylin Unterkoffler from Cross Point Church. We are going to be, or she's going to lead us in an invocation. If you all would stand, please.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. That was a beautiful tribute and no need to apologize. I'd like to open quickly with a brief reading of scripture, one that may be familiar to you, but that has been near and dear to my heart, and I believe is fitting for this evening. Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Let's pray. Father God, we thank you for the city of Chino, which provides us places to live, work, learn, play, and serve you and our community. Thank you for the homes in the city and the families that fill them. Thank you for the businesses that provide opportunities of employment. Thank you for the schools, administrators, and staff and teachers that pour into our children Monday through Friday. Thank you for the parks and green fields and sidewalks that we get to safely walk, run, and play on. And thank you for those who serve this community, those in our churches, our nonprofits, our first responders, and our city council. As this meeting proceeds, I pray your blessing on each individual here. May we trust you with our whole heart and lean not on our own understanding, preference, experience, and education, but in all things, may we acknowledge and submit to you, and as a result, may you make our path straight. May your blessing be on this meeting and on our city. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Kaylin. Okay, our next written request to speak is Melissa Campani from the Supervisor Hagman's office.
Well, good evening, Mayor, council members, staff, and of course, community members. My name is Melissa, and I just wanted to share some information for our citizens here in the city of Chino. Supervisor Hagman, in partnership with the city of Upland, is hosting his next document shredding event. And I know how popular these events are here in the city of Chino. So if you missed the last one, we have an opportunity for our city residents to attend in Upland. And the date would be Saturday, September the 28th. The time is from 9 to noon or until the truck reaches capacity. So my little tip is at 9 a.m. it's usually super busy. Maybe wait till just a little bit before then, but don't wait till 11:59 because there's a good chance that the trucks could already be full. We do ask that you limit your shredding materials to 3 standard size filing boxes per vehicle, and no CDs, DVDs, binders, x-rays, plastics, etc. I do have some flyers here, and there is a map. This is going to be, the location will be Memorial Park. The address is 1150 East Foothill Boulevard in the city of Upland. We do ask that you pre-register. You don't necessarily get in the front of the line, but it really helps the line progress at a quicker pace. So if you could pre-register at hagmanshred0924.eventbrite.com. And as always, these are free events, and I encourage residents to sign up for Supervisor Hagman's emails to find out about this and all of his events coming up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Melissa. Next written request is Mike Cargill, and his subject is political signs.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, staff. How are you? I am not here. I am Mike Cargile, but I'm not here to complain or bring any sort of clouds of doom and depression, as some people said I might. I'm here to encourage you. I am here to encourage you to see things the way I see them. So there is a city code, it's 16050602, that clearly states political signs may only be displayed or erected within 45 days preceding an election. And according to the California Secretary of State, the county elections will begin mailing ballots October 7th, 2024. So the contention with a number of candidates has been, when does the election begin? Because in the past, it was always a day in November, but then COVID hit and we had new protocols. So now the election actually begins the day you can begin voting, which would be October 7th. The day you receive your mail-in ballot, essentially you could put a stamp on it, put it in the mail, and cast your ballot. So that would signal the beginning of the election. And according to the city code, the signage would have a window of 45 days prior to the start of the election. And the whole purpose of this, and you guys are all elected and understand this, that you need about 6 weeks of displayed advertising for the candidates so that the public knows who's going to be on their ballot, and to look them up and see if this is someone that they want to vote for or not. And 6 weeks is usually a sufficient number, 45 days. Unfortunately, that has been intruded upon. And I'm not blaming anybody, I'm not pointing fingers or anything, and I don't want any city codes changed, because God willing, I get in office, we can get this back to a single-day event in November. But in the event that I don't, in the future, just please recognize that the start of an election is the day you can begin voting. And right now, that would be October 7th. So that's when there's a lot of candidates that have signs out, and some do not, because there's a lot of confusion. And I went over this with code enforcement, and you have Abraham, great guy, super nice, super knowledgeable, wonderful to work with. Give him a raise. He's great. So
hey, you don't have our budget.
Well, you meet people, and some people are not easy to get along with. He is and he represents the city well.
Thank you.
So that's all I'm asking is in the future, let's just be a little cognizant of the fact that the state is dictating different election procedures than are illustrated in certain city codes. And I don't want the codes changed. We need to get back to single-day voting. And I was going to say, let's make Chino great again, but Chino's always been great and will continue to be great. And you guys are wonderful, and you have an excellent city. And I hope to serve you soon. God bless you.
Thank you, Mike. Those are the only written requests I have to speak. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on any item that is not on the agenda? Okay, I see that we have some students in the audience. Some of them are here to earn badges from scouting. Some may be here for class assignments. So if you come to a council meeting, it's mandatory that you come up here and you give us your name and why you're here. If it's for school, what class it is and the teacher's name. If it's from scouting, then it's what badge you're working on. So come on up. Come on, we have policemen in the background that would be glad to escort you. Come on, quit arguing who's going to go up first. Oh, it takes the girl to come up first. Okay.
Thank you. My name is Lauren Odo. I'm from Troop 2017G, and we're working on citizenship of the Community Merit Badge.
Great, thank you, and welcome to be here.
Hello, I'm Nicholas Sanchez. I'm from Troop 201, and I'm also working towards that badge.
Welcome.
Hello, I'm Elroy from Troop 201, and I'm working on the Citizens Merit Badge.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Brandon, and I'm also working on the citizenship in this.
Hello, I'm Ethan, and I'm from Troop 201, and I'm working on citizenship in the community.
Hello, I'm Milan, and I'm also working on citizenship in the community.
Arjan, Troop 201, working on the same merit badge, citizenship in the community.
Well, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the meeting this evening and learn a lot. Now, I see some other youngsters or young people in the audience, and I'm sure you're not here just for the fun of it. So come on up. Come on. You should have seen them from up here. They're arguing back and forth who's going to come up first.
I'm Derek. That's my mama right there. And now we're here for, is it Gov? Yeah.
What school?
Ayala, Ruben.
Great. Okay. And your teacher's name?
Mr. Allen, Jeffrey Allen.
Okay.
Great dude.
Next.
My name's Mick Sumner. I go to Ayala High School as well, and I'm also working on my U.S. government project for Mr. Allen.
Great.
My name is Eddie, and I go to Ruben S. Ayala, and I'm working on the government project as well.
Terrific. Well, thank Mr. Allen for sending you here. Okay, did we get everybody that's here? I love to embarrass the kids. All right, and we will move on. The next item on our agenda is the consent calendar. Do any council members wish to have any items pulled for discussion? Seeing none, then I would entertain a motion and a second. Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Comstock, second from Councilman Flores. Please vote. Oops. And the consent calendar passes unanimously. Next, under new business, item number 13, support for Proposition 36, the Homelessness, Drug Addiction, and Theft Reduction Act. This item is to consider approving Resolution 2024-044 in support of Proposition 36. Staff report this evening will be by our Chief of Police, Mr. Menson.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. So I want to talk to you today. First, I'm going to give a presentation on Prop 36, the Homelessness, Drug Addiction, and Theft Reduction Act. So if you were to ask me last year prior to this initiative coming forward, what are the three biggest things affecting our community? I would tell you homelessness, drugs, and theft. This initiative, it got the signatures necessary during the spring and summertime, and it made the ballot for the November election for the citizens of California to make a decision on whether to pass this. So I'm going to talk stats this is specifically for Chino. So last year, and I know you guys have seen these numbers before, so last year our retail theft was up 53% from the previous year. Our drug overdoses this year in 2024 for the first 6 months is up 56%. And our homelessness, which came from our point in time count, is up 57% from where it was last year. So the increase in retail theft, and these are some of the stores that you saw, this is from last year, of what they've seen in the increase of retail theft. Target at 65, Dick's 133, Kohl's at 250%. And as you know, in order for these retail businesses to not lose money and to absorb their loss, is that increase of crime and their cost is rolled over to the consumers for us when we go and shopping at these stores. I know specifically Stater Brothers, I talked to the manager there at the one at Yorba and Riverside, and in one quarter they had $40,000 of shrinkage from their business. So I'm going to segue a little bit real quick since we're talking about retail theft. In March of this past year, the voters of Chino passed Measure V for a 1 cent sales tax increase. And then in May, the council here, you guys approved us 4 positions at the Chino Police Department, 2 of them specifically to be assigned to retail theft. So I told you last year our retail theft was up 53%. For the first through January through May, our retail theft was up an additional 15%. You approved these positions in May, we selected them, and we had them in place starting in June. So through the months of June, July, and August, while our 2 officers from retail theft have been in place, we've seen a 10% decrease in retail theft. So this is a result of Measure V money that is put in place that you approve these officers. From the time you approved them to the time we got them in place, we're seeing the difference in our community regarding retail theft. Drug overdoses. So our drug overdoses are up 56%. A large portion of this is fentanyl. Fentanyl is it's devastating. If it wasn't for Narcan, the use of Narcan, and our officers all being issued Narcan and using it on a regular basis along with the fire department, the overdose death rate would be absolutely through the roof. The fentanyl it's a true crisis in the state, and the city of Chino is not immune to that, and we're seeing some of that. Our homelessness is up 57% from where it was last year. And so where the correlation of this is obviously the Proposition 47, some of the things that it affected our communities the past 10 years ago was it changed the dollar amount for retail theft from $400 to $950. Our homelessness, since this proposition is put in place, has gone up 51% in California. Obviously, I told you this last year, 57, where the rest of the country is down 11%. The biggest thing that Prop 47 changed was the classification of narcotics and Schedule I narcotics, the worst of the drugs, is it made possession of narcotics a misdemeanor, which means somebody could be walking down the street in possession of heroin, and if they got stopped by the police, they would literally get a ticket. Here in Chino, we take them out to the West Valley Detention Center where they would be booked and processed and then released. And so it changed all the drug classifications. And what this did, there made no incentive for people to get clean. Our drug courts became vacant. Nobody was using them because there was no consequences for using drugs. The biggest thing that we lost accountability and deterrence, and that's obviously with the theft. Back to the drugs. What we're not looking to mass incarcerate people for possession of narcotics, but we need to force people that they have an option to either get help, get rehab, or go to jail. They need to be forced that and go back to like when we had drug court and we found that very effective. So what Proposition 36, how it fixes this problem, right? It doesn't completely undo Proposition 47. It just makes some changes. It reclassifies retail theft with 2 or more prior convictions as a felony. You can aggregate a multiple thefts together to reach $950 and charge a felony. An example of that is somebody was down in the Spectrum Shopping Center and they went to multiple stores, stole $200-300 from each store. We can aggregate that and make it over $950 a felony. Enhanced penalties for excessive taking or damage to property, enhanced penalties for acting in concert, takeover, a theft where you're having a large group of people suspects running in, stealing a bunch of stuff, and they're running out, causing a lot of damage. And then this is the drugs. This is after 2 hard drug convictions, discretion to charge the 3rd hard drug possession as treatment mandated felony. And that's what it is forcing people to get help. And this is the homeless problem. And I've talked about homeless. The easiest people for us to help, our quality of life team in partnership with community services, is people that are homeless that want help. There's so many resources out there. The hardest ones are the ones that don't want any assistance from us. And it takes an average of 60 to 70 contacts for us before someone will accept help. And a lot of that is because they're under the influence of narcotics. And so by getting a homeless person to get them clean so that they can now go back to be a contributing member of society. And then it also addresses the fentanyl crisis and going after the fentanyl dealers. So that concludes my presentation. Before my recommendation, I'd be open if you have any questions for me.
Kevin, I understand that the legislature is taking action on some other issues. How does this different from what the Senate and the Assembly is attempting to do?
So they did, and the governor signed those bills. I believe there was 10 of them, and that's good. That was good, positive for public safety. However, it did not do anything to address the effect of Proposition 47, what Proposition 47 do. And it did not change any crimes from a misdemeanor to a felony. But it did add enhancements such as the requirements. If somebody breaks into your vehicle, currently the elements of the crime, for it to be a burglary, your vehicle needs to be locked and secured. There was one bill that was approved that said it no longer has to be locked and secured. There was another one to keep the CHP's Retail Theft Task Force. So they were good bills, a lot of enhancements, and it's a good complement to this resolution if it's passed. Okay. I'm sorry, to the initiative if it's passed.
Now, the governor has been taking quite a few aggressive steps to clear out the prisons and let prisoners go. If this bill is effective, you're going to have more arrests. How is that going to work with what the governor's trying to do with shutting down prisons?
So I don't think you'll see any of these people that, by these laws changing, whether it be for the retail theft now being a felony because they have 2 or more convictions, or the drugs, none of them are going to go to prison. Even if it's convicted of felony, they are going to be serving their time in county jail. And according to our local sheriff here in San Bernardino County, he will have room in his jail for these inmates, these suspects that are arrested.
Okay, good. Any other comments, questions? Karen?
Chief, can you go back to the presentation just real quick? The slide there.
Which slide?
One forward. So I'd just like to state that as our local inland chapter representative for Cal Cities, if you read the council agenda tonight, in the front of, there's several pieces of legislation that we are aggressively tracking as a city, and most of the community knows that we just recently rewrote our local ordinance in support of public safety and added a lot of these points in here. But the legislation that you're reading deals with habitually, that the legislation that's being vetted is in theft, retail theft, homelessness, and as well as the fentanyl crisis. There is a bunch of legislation out there that's making its way through Sacramento right now. I think it's important for voters to understand how Prop 36 can help not just our community, but every city and community in the state to help keep our communities safe from repeat offenders. I strongly support this resolution. It's one of the concerns that when I'm out and about that I hear from people the most. Hey, how are we addressing chronic homelessness? How are we addressing drug addiction? How are we addressing retail theft? There are retail agents and commercial representatives that are actually leaving communities because they can no longer afford to do business in some of these communities. So I don't want voters to get confused by the other pieces of legislation that's out there. The best and most proper fix to this is actually in Proposition 36, which is the voter-based initiative that will help local law enforcement to deal with these quality of life issues. Each one of these issues that Chief Minson has spoken about tonight is severely impactful. We don't want to mass incarcerate people behind minor drug offenses or even minor incidents of shoplifting or theft. But what we do want is hold repeat and habitual offenders. While I was still working at the police department, we would have people go, and they knew they could shoplift up to $950 worth of merchandise every day of the week if they wanted to, and not be held accountable for stronger enhancements or penalties for those crimes. I think that's terrible. I think it's absolutely terrible, as well as the crisis that the chief talked about. So please do your homework about Proposition 36. If you're interested in learning more about it, I know there's information on Cal Cities with Cal Chiefs. Reach out to some of your local law enforcement to understand, or reach out to some of your family members that are actually involved in local law enforcement and see the support that there is for this this ballot initiative, as well as I do support the resolution, as I've already said, Mayor. So thank you.
I also want to say I'm in strong support of Prop 36. Like the chief was saying, there was a lot of things that happened when they changed with Prop 47. It was not just theft, but it used to be that if a person committed a theft and he had spent a prior day in the jail for that theft, and the next one, no matter what the amount was, would be a felony, and the person would go to jail. This made it to where you could continuously get arrested, and it was never a felony. When they released all those people from prison, that's how he got his surplus in his budget, was he was releasing all these people. He then put the burden on the county jail so that the counties had to then pay for the inmates that were being housed. And as he was releasing these inmates, instead of paying to house them and to have these prisons opened, he was getting the additional money that was not being used, and he was using that as money to fund other programs. And unfortunately, when he released these inmates and a lot of them are what you're seeing as homeless, is because these people were in jail, they were in prison, they were addicted to drugs, they had psychological problems, and he released them with nothing as far as programs for these people to go into. There was no drug rehabilitation for them. So you had a bunch of people that were out there self-medicating on narcotics, trying to medicate themselves. And when they didn't have any money and they didn't have a job and then they weren't retrained in anything at all, then they went back to what they knew, which was committing crimes. And that's why you have, and when you go into downtown LA and you ride the subway systems and you have all these instances where people are getting murdered by a homeless person that just, for no reason, just stabs somebody on the subway system. It's because these folks are, one, they're armed because they're homeless, but two, they're not thinking correctly because they're not medicated like they're supposed to be, and they're on drugs. And the state of California did a poor job when they decided to do these things, because they gave these folks nothing to help rehabilitate them, nothing to get them off of drugs, nothing to change the way they live. And what they did is they released these people and they put them out on the community, and now we all are suffering the consequences as a result of what the politicians did here in California. And they continue to change the laws to make it more difficult for police officers to do their jobs. And that's why the governor has come out so strongly against Proposition 36, and that's why they've tried to write other laws to water down what the effects of Prop 36 would have. And it's not the mass incarceration that they're talking about. It's incarcerating people for committing crimes, because for some reason society now believes that doing the right thing is wrong and doing the wrong thing is right. So I think this is a step in the right direction. Will it cause more people to go to prison? Yes, but those people need to be in prison. And unfortunately, for some reason, we're led to believe that people shouldn't be in prison. We do have some awful people. To give you an example, We have a level 2 yard here that we house death row inmates. We had a guard stabbed there by an inmate that was classified as a level 2. That person that stabbed that officer inside the prison system should have never been a level 2. That guy murdered his cellmate when he was in Pelican Bay. How do you murder a cellmate and then somehow or another your point system gets dropped down to put you in a level 2 yard? This is ridiculous what the state of California does and what the state of California classifies people as. And the only thing it does is it hurts more and more people. So I'm a strong supporter of it. I don't believe this is a mass incarceration. I think this is a fix in trying to correct a system that has been broken by our legislators. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, if there are not any other comments or questions, then I would ask for a motion and a second to approve item number 13. Motion from Councilman Flores, second by Mayor Pro Tem Comstock. Please vote. The item passes unanimously, so please vote yes on Proposition 36 so we can get some relief from the horrible things that are happening in our state. Next is item number 14, Memorandum of Agreement, an MOA, with the United States Army Corps of Engineers to expedite and pay for the permits under their Section 408 program. Note, Section 214 of the Federal Water Resources Development Act of 2000 authorizes the Secretary of the Army, after public notice, to accept and expend funds contributed by a non-federal public entity to expedite the valuation of a Section 208 permit review request for a public purpose under the jurisdiction of the Department of the Army. Our staff report this evening will be provided by Michelle Henderson, our senior engineer, and Hygen Lee, our director of public works.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. Tonight, I will provide a project overview and recommendation for the city to approve a memorandum of agreement with the United States Army Corps of Engineers to expedite permitting under the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Section 408 program. As shown on the exhibit, the city has multiple projects in its capital improvement program that fall within the Prado Flood Control Basin. Specifically, those projects that disturb land below the 566-foot elevation fall under the jurisdiction of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and must go through the 408 permission process. This process ensures that any changes, such as modifications to flood control systems or navigable channels, do not negatively impact the original purpose or integrity of the federal project, in this case, the Prado Dam impoundment. The standard review time for the 408 permission varies based on the complexity of the project and can range between 10 to 14 months, and in some instances could be as long as a couple of years. The Section 214 of the Water Resources Development Act allows the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to accept funds to prioritize processing of certain applications. The Memorandum of Agreement is a vehicle by which the city will obtain expedited review and evaluation of city-designated priority Section 408 requests outside of the standard core review process. Execution of the MOA ensures funding is available for core staff to expedite the review and ensures continuous review in the event a lapse in available federal funding might otherwise halt the process. As noted in the MOA, execution will enhance the coordination between the City of Chino and core staff. It will ensure timely feedback and decisions and provide additional technical and administrative support services and ultimately achieve a timely project completion through the expedited review. Typically, the expedited review will save 2 to 4 months of processing time and could save an additional 4 months if federal funding is not available at the end of the federal fiscal year. The initial payment of $201,208 being requested by the Corps covers the administrative support and project review services for 3 priority projects in the city for the 2024-25 federal fiscal year. Those projects are Pine Avenue Stage 3, the Pine Avenue widening between Euclid Avenue and Johnson Avenues, and including the intersection improvements at Euclid Avenue and the storm drain Line I. The costs associated with the permitting fees are covered under the Development Impact Fee Program. It should be noted that the formal 408 permission application for Pine Avenue Stage 3 was recently submitted to the Corps, and their staff is aware of the pending execution of the MOA to expedite the review for this project. Upon execution of the MOA, the city will move forward with the planned submission of 408 permission applications for the identified projects during the federal fiscal year 2024-25. Future projects listed in the MOA include Storm Drain Line H, the rehabilitation of Pomona Rincon Road, and the Euclid Avenue Bridge projects. Projects may be added or deleted from the list as the city's project timelines change. On an annual basis, but no later than October 1 of each year, the Corps will invoice the city for projects identified to be submitted for the upcoming federal fiscal year. Staff therefore recommends that the City Council approve the Memorandum of Agreement between City of Chino and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. This agreement aims to expedite the permit process under the Corps' Section 408 program for city projects that modify, alter, or occupy existing Corps constructed flood protection projects. This concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Michelle. Any questions or comments? Okay, then I would entertain a motion in a second to approve item number 14. Okay, we need a motion in a second.
It's not working.
It's not working? All right, is there a verbal motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion from Councilman Lucio, second.
I'll make the motion. Second, Mayor.
Second from Mayor Pro Tem Comstock. Okay, now it's working.
It's working now.
Please vote. And the item passes unanimously. Item number 15, approval of additional appropriation of $705,400 and a construction change order number 2 with Hardy and Harper Incorporated for the street rehabilitation FY 23-24 project, ST 241. Staff report this evening will be provided by Albert Espinosa, our Deputy Public Works Director / City Engineer, and Hygen Lee, our Director of Public Works.
All righty, good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. Tonight I'll provide a background, the funding sources and project costs for ST 241, which has various components to it, the change order details, the Ramona Avenue timeline, and the next steps for the remaining pavement work along Ramona Avenue. This will be a detailed report on the overall project for the council members as well as community members who had reached out to the Public Works Department asking various questions. So a little background on this project. On February 6th of this year, a portion of the project work for ST 241 was awarded to Hardy and Harper to perform asphalt pavement work at various locations throughout the city, which also included the center median trench repair work on Ramona Avenue between Chino Avenue and Schaefer Avenue, which had been experiencing some roadway settlement. On June 18th, 2024, also of this year, the City Council executed a reimbursement agreement with the City of Pomona to pay the remaining portions of Walnut Avenue from the City of Chino limits to Reservoir Street. And this pavement work was performed also by Hardy and Harper and added to their contract as change order number 1. And on this slide are some of the images showing the pavement work at Walnut Avenue and the overall asphalt work that was being performed by Hardy and Harper. So change order number 2 will require additional appropriations in the amount of $705,400 from the general fund to the transportation fund. This slide also shows other funding sources which make up ST 241. This includes Measure I, which is the half-cent sales tax collected through San Bernardino County, and also used for transportation improvements, and the road maintenance and rehab program, also known as Senate Bill 1, the California gas tax from 2017, which also provides the City of Chino with funding for road maintenance and rehab of our local streets. With the additional appropriation, This brings a revised budget for ST 241 to $6,896,727. All righty, please bear with me as we get into some of the more details of ST 241 and the specific contract amount for Hardy and Harper and the overall project cost for ST 241. So Hardy and Harper's contract after change order number 1 was increased to just a little over $2.16 million, with the approval of change order number 2 totaling the $923,990.64. This will bring Hardy and Harper's revised contract amount to a little over $3.08 million. And staff is requesting an appropriation of $705,400 and not the full $923,000 because there's some cost savings with the overall ST 241 project. So we didn't feel the need to ask for the full change order amount because the whole overall ST 241 has additional funding still in there. So the overall ST 241 project also includes ramp reconstruction to meet ADA standards, which is currently being performed by CT&T, and this was specifically awarded to them on May 21st of 2024 this year. ST 241 also includes construction management services to assist city staff with these projects, the ADA ramp pilot program, which was work along 7th Street from C Street to Washington Avenue, geotechnical services to check compaction while work is being performed out in the field, engineering service designs, and overtime inspection for city staff when they need to be out there for either for night work or weekend, and of course public notification for the overall project. Next slide is a breakdown of the change order itself. So this slide provides a little more detail and some of the work. The text in black is the work that's already been performed by Hardy and Harper, and what's highlighted in orange is what's remaining. So the work included water line repair at the Ramona Avenue and Marigold, the street reconstruction itself of Ramona and Marigold, a water line replacement at Ramona Avenue and Dahlia due to aging infrastructure that's out there, the traffic control for the road closure, and the ground penetrating radar investigation to assess the underground conditions of the roadway after the water main break. The remaining work highlighted in orange is for a grind and pavement work of Ramona Avenue from Chino Avenue to Chafer Avenue, and this work also includes special asphalt treatment at the intersections as you're approaching the two streets, just because it's been warped by trucks. So they're gonna go a little bit deeper there to give it a bigger padding so the trucks don't warp it as easily. Obviously restriping, we'll have the traffic signal loops being reinstalled out there. And of course, we have traffic control and we'll be adjusting water valves and manhole covers as we redo the street. We wanna make sure it's completed correctly. And then Public Works heard from the community back on July 18th that they wanted a final product that looked good and did not look like grandmother's quilt. So we heard them loud and clear, and this is why the Public Works team is coming to the council to actually repave Ramona and finish and have a good finished product instead of just patching it up and just walking away from there. Here's a little timeline of what happened out there with Ramona. And so the water main rupture occurred on June 3rd at Ramona and Marigold, which affected a few homes located west of the intersection, and the water line repair was completed on June 5th. During the time of the road closure, staff worked with the geotech engineer to assess the potential impacts of the water main break, and the road was closed during this investigation period for the safety of motorists, the community, and the contractor. Staff also worked with the contractor to bring on board a company called See Below, which used underground penetrating radar to assess and map any anomalies underground. And there was there were limits of investigation from the end of the street from curb to curb and from Chafer to Chino to do the full assessment of the street while we're out there. And so the contractor was able to secure them. And once the geotechnical report came in and the GPR was completed, staff and the contractor felt comfortable moving forward with the repairs of the road. On July 18th, city staff, along with Mayor Pro Tem, met with community members who live and have businesses adjacent to Ramona to provide them an update on the game plan moving forward. The work commenced on Monday, July 22nd, which involved Ramona Avenue median repair work, the replacement of sagging sewer laterals, which was performed by our city crews, for some of the few homeowners who just live south of Marigold on the west end of the street. And the pavement reconstruction at Ramona Avenue and Marigold was completed on July 27th. The contractor also finalized the replacement of aging water lines at Ramona and Dahlia on August 2nd, and the contractor is scheduled to return and finish all the work on Ramona the week of October 14th, pending weather, of course. And as Hei-Jin mentioned at last week's special study session, this was the earliest we could schedule the contractor because of asphalt demand. And the contractor actually also had other awarded work they needed to do in the region. Summertime is, and summer and early fall is a busy season for pavement to try to get work done before the rains come. So this was the earliest we could schedule them. Some final images for the community. We have on the left the contractor performing the ground penetrating radar investigation along Ramona Avenue. The center image is the reconstruction of Ramona and Marigold. And on to the right is Ramona Avenue and Dahlia Road, where they were doing the Ramona Dahlia water line replacement there. And so staff's recommendation is that we do appropriate the $705,400 to the transportation fund from the general fund. Approve change order number 2 with Hardy & Harper for $923,990.64. And authorize the city manager to execute any necessary documents on the behalf of the city. And Hei-Jin and myself are here tonight for any additional questions that the council may have.
I do have a question, and that is, you mentioned we're going to use geotechnical services to ensure that the compaction is done appropriately. Was that not done on a previous project?
The previous
Oh,
project
I think
was
here.
about 20 years ago.
Here, I think.
Oh.
There you go.
I'm sorry. Mayor, the previous project on the trench area, they believe that the storm drain pipe was installed approximately 20 plus years ago. So we don't know exactly what happened when that particular storm drain was installed. It could be just natural settlement and maybe water seepage. We don't know.
Okay. Comments or questions? Karen?
Hei-Jin and Albert, I want to thank you for attending the July 18th meeting. I know I'm going to miss somebody, but I want to say Ben was there, Jesus, Dennis, Warren. More importantly, I want to thank the residents of that area in Heather Circle, as well as the Chino Unified School District. This water leak caused a significant sinkhole to that area, which was impactful not just to the residents. We had a few residents lose water for almost 24 hours. They were thank yous to our public works crews that got out there and rerouted that and restored services to them. But also it significantly impacted truck traffic in that area because Ramona Avenue is a truck route there, so thank you to PD. This whole project has been a real team effort by the city. I want to thank our staff for the culture of meeting with our residents and listening to their concerns out there. Hei-Jin, particularly, I'm pleased to hear as a result of that meeting, we're going to be changing our standards for paving that will not only improve hopefully the life of our streets, especially truck routes, but also the impact of noise. Mm-hmm. There was a real big concern about our residents there about noise from trucks and different things. As well as my last compliment on that is I think we've done a good job with that. Thank you for paving it the right way. That is my term, Mayor, my grandmother's quilt. I think we all get tired of our streets looking like that. Mm-hmm. From improvements. But my last question is, have we come to an agreement with the contractor who caused some of these problems for cost reimbursement or mitigation for this? Are we still working through that?
Mayor Pro Tem, thank you for that question. Yes, we're working through that. We found out that one of the ways we wanted to come to a resolution was instead of fighting about it and getting litigation involved, we wanted to collaborate. And because there was some water leak that perhaps led into saturation of soil. Okay. Yes. So those are unknown to us at the time. And so there's a lot of different components to how we arrived at this solution, but we wanted to make sure we move forward instead of arguing about what had happened. And I think they're providing us a pretty reasonable price for the work that we're about to perform. And I think if we get into litigation, we gotta be fighting, and Fred's team is gonna get involved, and we won't get any work done. We wanted to avoid that, and we wanted to make sure that we restore the pavement as soon as possible. And I think we came to a very amicable resolution on that.
Okay, so what I hear you saying is we think because the water main was sold, that there was maybe some pre-existing conditions in addition to what we thought was the potholing that may have further aggravated it, and we're going to mitigate it by working collectively
That's right.
with the developer to come to an agreement to repair it. Okay. I think that's good. If we can keep it out of litigation and get it at a price we think is fair for our community and get the work done more expeditiously. In the end, what our residents want to see is the work performed.
Yes.
So, okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion in a second to approve item number 15. Still not working? Oh, there it goes. Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Comstock, second from Councilman Flores. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Item number 16, final acceptance of public improvements for track map number 18903, Meritage Homes of California Incorporated. This is to accept the public improvements as complete for track map number 18903 and authorize the release of performance bonds and initiate the warranty bond. I'd like to ask for a staff report from Jesus Plasencia, our Assistant City Engineer, and also our Director of Public Works, Hygen Lee.
Mayor, I'm going to have to recuse myself from this agenda item as I live in this housing tract for the final acceptance.
Okay.
Thank you.
Please let the record reflect that Mayor Pro Tem Comstock has left the meeting.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. On August 20th, 2018, the Planning Commission approved tentative track map 18903 and a site approval for a new development consisting of 38 single-family homes located north of Chino Avenue between Pipeline and Norton Avenue. The conditions of approval for the project require the developer, Meritage Homes, to undertake various public improvements both within and outside of the tract. On March 19th of this year, City Council accepted the public storm drain improvements constructed as part of the development and authorized the reimbursement of $1,178,914 to the developer per the construction credit and reimbursement agreement. However, the acceptance of the remaining public improvements was deferred until issues with pavement cracking on the in-track streets were addressed. To resolve the pavement cracking issue, staff proposed a pilot project to the Infrastructure Committee on June 10th, 2024. The project involved applying rubberized emulsion aggregate slurry, or RIAS for short, to the in-track streets. RIAS is a proven effective material that's been applied in nearby cities that offers enhanced durability and crack resistance. The Infrastructure Committee supported the proposal, and on July 31st, 2024, the City Council awarded a contract to Petrochem Materials Innovation to carry out the work. The RIAS application was completed on August 15th, 2024. During the process, streets were temporarily closed for the application, but they were reopened to residents later that evening after allowing sufficient cure time for the material. City Public Works staff then reapplied the permanent striping on August 20th, 24. Once the material had further cure to allow for the new markings. The developer has fully funded the construction of all public improvements associated with the development, including the application of RIAS and the restriping of the streets. Meritage Homes deposited $121,252.58, which fully covered the city's expenses of approximately $49,014.48, leaving a remaining balance of $72,238.10 designated for future expenses related to a second application of the RIAS material. All public improvements are now complete and to the satisfaction of the Director of Public Works and City Engineer, adhering to industry standards and accessibility requirements. All development-related fees have been paid, and a security bond for a one-year warranty period has been provided to cover any defects in the public improvements within the warranty period, becoming effective upon the council's acceptance. Additionally, Petrochem Materials Innovation provides a 7-year warranty for the RIAS application to address any premature degradation of the material. Now, I'd like to present a brief video showing drone footage of the completed streets after a successful application of the RIAS material and the restriping of the streets. With this, staff recommends that the council accept the public improvements for Tract 18903 as complete, authorize the release of the performance bond, initiate the warranty bond, and grant the city manager authority to execute the necessary documents on behalf of the city. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Comments, questions?
A question. So now that we repaved it with this new slurry, what have been the reactions from the residents? Were they happy with it?
I have not heard any response, positive or negative, from residents. Perhaps other staff members have.
I have. I've been out there multiple times, and I've been getting positive feedback. Actually, even one resident, Mayor Pro Tem, was very pleased with the outcome, and we have other property owners also expressing that they're pleased with the results.
All the streets within the complex were treated?
Yes.
Okay, you mentioned you have $72,000 left over for a second treatment?
Correct.
Is that scheduled, or is that just pending in case there's a failure?
No, we're holding the funds for after about 7-8 years after the warranty or the degradation of the pavement is witnessed, and then we will apply it. So one of the, I guess we should go back and reiterate how we got here. RIAS is a first of its kind in our city, and it was considered a pilot project, which was approved by the Infrastructure Committee. So we're pleased with the outcome, and we would like to recommend using this material in lieu of a conventional slurry material that we've been using in the past. This material is approximately 30% more expensive than a conventional slurry, but less than half the price of mill and overlay, but provides about the same service life. So I think this is a good option for us to expand our pavement rehab program, and we want to utilize this program when applicable in more areas in the city.
Okay, another question. There were a number of issues within this track. One of them was failing cement work. How was that resolved?
I believe the cement work were happening on the private property side, which I am not aware of any issues.
I think I could address that one. So, Mayor, I think what you're referring to is that there was some observed failure of the concrete in the curbs.
Yes.
And so what happened was during normal construction, you're going to have equipment that does damage the curb in certain locations. And so what they normally do is they come back in and they use like a patch material like Quikrete to basically make sure that it looks new without any scratching or marks. And so what happened was when we resolved the issue related to the excess red curb painting, they had to use high-pressure water to remove the paint, and that caused some of the patchwork to be damaged. And so they had to go back out and get it fixed. But they repaired it, and there's, as far as I know, there's no issues.
But wasn't there also some cement failure in driveways and sidewalks, patios, things like that? Because they used a poor quality cement?
If there was, I'm not aware of that in particular. My understanding was more related to the red curb.
Now, I remember that there were complaints about cement failure, and the allegation was that they didn't use the proper mix of cement, and that's why it was failing. So I'm curious as to what happens there. Would that be homeowners' responsibility to go after the contractor if it's on private property?
That is correct.
But what about the ones that were on, like the sidewalks and stuff? Wouldn't that be our responsibility?
Correct. All the defects that are known have been repaired by the contractor. I think one particular issue we had on that track was we had some issues with drainage.
Right, I was going to ask you about that also.
Yeah, so we already addressed that. We actually had the contractor take out the area that are poorly draining and re-pour, and then now problem has been resolved and resident is pleased with the outcome.
You've gone back and checked that? Because the last
did.
I remember, after it was fixed, the residents said that it wasn't fixed.
It was fixed multiple times.
Oh,
So
okay.
the last time we fixed it, he was happy with the results. I think we fixed it like 2 or 3 times.
We didn't fix it. If it was fixed 2 or 3 times, we didn't fix it.
But
Until
last time it was
fixed.
fixed right.
Okay, and then the last I remember was an argument about relocating the mailbox. Was that ever done, or is that still up to the homeowners association?
Relocation, it is not a part of Public Works function. It is U.S. Postal Service have to approve the relocation of the mailboxes. And I believe that is done by Development Services.
Mayor and
Yes.
Council, we do have an accessibility claim that needs a ramp next to the mailboxes. So if the council accepts this, then we will go in and do the accessibility ramp.
And then it should be okay? All right. Do you know of any other complaints in that track?
We are not aware of any complaints since we fixed the drainage and all the red curbs and the pavement.
Okay. Linda, do you know of anything?
I don't know, and the only outstanding we have is the ramp.
Okay. Kurt?
Yeah, every time we listen to progress, if we want to call it progress with this project, something else comes up. I want to thank the staff for going through and trying to work through this. But more than that, I appreciate the residents in there that have put up with the shoddy workmanship of Meritage Homes. Again, they should be ashamed of the product that they put out to the residents of the city of Chino. Every time we turn around, something else has come up, from plumbing to concrete to streets to mailbox issues. This should have been resolved a long time ago. And as I have mentioned in the past, anytime we do any kind of business with Meritage in the future, I would just ask that we just really scrutinize everything that they present to us, and we go through their project with a fine-tooth comb. But thank you very much to our staff for going through this, and again, to our residents for putting up with it.
Years ago, we had a developer, I think it was Classic Homes, that it was an absolute nightmare, the whole track. I mean, cold water was coming where hot water should be, and hot water was going into toilets, and it was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. And we were able, I think, to get something done to where we would never have to have Classic Homes in our city again. Can we do that with Meritage?
Unfortunately, you cannot. I know there was another developer we had a lawsuit with where the developer refused to address some ADA-related improvements, and that question came up. But if a developer rightfully purchases a piece of property, there's not much the city can do to prevent that. Obviously, as Councilmember Burton mentioned, we'd want to scrutinize and make sure that we carefully review any of their plans and processes.
We need a lemon law with developers.
Reverse Yelp.
We really do.
I just wanted to point out, I mentioned this in the presentation, but with the acceptance, it does start the warranty period for a year. So if there's any defects that we notice with the improvements, we can require that Meritage come back and make the necessary repairs.
Okay, what I would ask then that you send a letter to every resident there informing them of the warranty period and ask them to please contact us as soon as possible if they have problems that the warranty would be applicable to. Okay?
We'll do that.
Yes.
All right, with
I
that.
have a comment, Mayor.
Yes, Chris.
Real quick, the RIAS, first of all, I want to thank you guys for the report. I'm definitely open-minded to, this new concept that you guys brought to the city. So thank you for bringing that to us. I had a chance to drive on that street earlier, and there's a significant difference, but, I'll let the public be the decider of that. But I have a question. In terms of we may be looking into using this RIAS more frequently in the future. And with that, I know we've already done some slurry and some pavement in many streets in our city, including 7th Street. And by the way, our team did a phenomenal job with the striping down there, and everybody's loving it. But so with these streets that have been redone, can RIAS be applied to those streets, or do we need to wait until these streets, just kind of break apart to go in and use RIAS?
We don't want to wait until they break apart. We want to make sure that we're proactive in preserving our pavement condition. So we are in the process of updating our pavement management plan that identifies the pavement condition index, and we will be working with the plan to prioritize which streets. And then as we discussed during the strategic planning meeting, we are going to be coming up with the grid system in our city to make sure that we maximize contractors' time and minimize traffic control throughout the cities and isolate it to a certain area. So we will be employing different methodology on how we are going to execute our payment rehab program.
Understood. Thank you.
And I just wanted to confirm, you said that it costs approximately 30% more money for this
Then slurry.
Than slurry,
Like the liquid slurry.
yet it has the same life.
No, it has longer life.
Longer life
Yes.
expectancy. How much longer, do you know?
Slurry is only guaranteed up to a year. This one is guaranteed up to 7 years.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay, if there are no more comments or questions, I would entertain a motion in a second. Motion from Councilman Burton, second from Councilman Lucio. Please vote. Okay, item passes 4 yes with 1 abstention. Okay, and please let the record reflect that Mayor Pro Tem Comstock is coming back to the dais. Next item on the agenda is mayor and council reports. Let's see, for mine, on Wednesday, September 3rd, I attended the Omnitrans and SBCTA Boards of Directors meetings. Friday, September 6th, attended the senior birthday celebrations, and then that afternoon, we had the 60s Central Bridge ribbon cutting. So I want to thank SBCTA employees, council members, Mayor John Dutre from Montclair, Councilman Ray Marquez from Chino Hills, many of our own employees and other guests for attending. It was 113 degrees. We waited so long to have this ribbon cutting, and then to bake was incredible, but at least we got it done. They had fans set up and these portable air conditioners, but the air conditioners blew air that was just as hot as the outdoor air. It was pretty miserable. Saturday, September 7th, I got the phone call from Dennis's wife that he had passed that morning. There will be a celebration of life on Thursday, December 5th, from 3 to 5 at the Chino Police Department. And I know Rosemary would really appreciate it if city employees that knew him and members of the public that knew him, if they attend. Again, it's going to be December 5th from 3 to 5. He was really a great guy. We, our families had become very close friends, and Dennis had changed a lot during the last year or two that he was on the council. He became pretty impatient with things and was very demonstrative when he didn't agree with things. But what we found out a couple of years after that is that he had dementia, and it was starting to show up when he was still on the council. The last couple of years had been very, very difficult for him, and he was a very, very strong believer in Jesus Christ. And I know that he is in heaven now, despite the fact that he really wasn't himself anymore toward the last. But, you know, Rosemary is hoping that people will remember him when he was very vibrant and active. And, you know, he was the voice of Chino, as Curtis had been for many years. But Dennis had done all of the announcing for Pop Warner and for the Pumas track meets and stuff. Just very, very well-known man who absolutely loved this community. So if you can put it on your calendars for December 5th from 3 to 5, I think the family would very much appreciate people coming and showing their support for him. Let's see, and then Tuesday, September 10th, we had a workshop where we received an update on the preserve development, and we also had a discussion on possibly adding 2 seats from the sphere of influence to our Planning Commission. Wednesday, September 11th, I had the mayor's prayer breakfast, and then afterwards I was able to attend the Chino Valley Fire District's 9/11 service, which is always very, very, very nice. And it was well attended as well. Thursday, September 12th, was the Omnitrans Administration and Finance Committee meeting and the SBCTA Transit Committee. That evening, City Manager Reich and I attended an Inland Valley Humane Society meeting, along with mayors and city managers from Montclair, Chino Hills, Claremont, Laverne. I think those were the only communities, to discuss issues of mutual concerns and how the exit of Chino and us, leaving IVHS will affect the other member agencies. Then Saturday, the 14th, I attended the Let It Be Sunset Gala. Now, Michael and Ruthie Rosen's daughter, Carla, passed away about 19 years ago. And out of that tragedy was formed the Let It Be Foundation, which over the past 18 years has brought care and hope to thousands of people, many, many, many families and children that were affected by cancer. This organization brought together hundreds of volunteers who reached out to help these families try to gain some kind of normalcy in facing the tragedies that they faced. Many of these kids recovered, but many also passed. And it took its toll on the Rosen family, as you can imagine. And at the end of 18 years, they've decided to, at the end of the year, close it down. It will be missed. I mean, this foundation has been life's blood to many, many, many families. But I understand. I understand how gut-wrenching it can be to reach out and help families that are suffering. Many of our firefighters and our police officers were there that evening, as well as Chief Menson, and I'm sure he'll mention it as well. But it was a beautiful gala, very, very well attended, and it's with sadness that we see them depart. But Carla, their daughter, had a saying, and it was, "Give it to God and let it be." And her saying is what Ruthie used to name this foundation, the Let It Be Foundation. And that's all I have this evening. It was a beautiful event, but it's sad to see them go. Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Comstock.
Thank you, Mayor. On September 9th, I attended the media training class along with the staff here at City Hall. I also attended my weekly meeting with the city manager on the same date. And on September 10th, I attended the city council workshop held here in the city council chambers, along with staff and members of the city council. As everyone here knows, that pertain to traffic infrastructure and an update to the development projects that are occurring in the preserve. On Thursday, September 12th, I attended a site visit to the city of Yorba Linda to an affordable housing project developed and managed by the National Corps of Affordable Housing. Mark, I think this was the site you went on and recommended it to the rest of the council. We visited the Oak Crest Terrace apartments located near the Save shopping center there. I have to tell you, that was an impressive affordable housing development project. I learned a lot that day, including that National Corps. Some of their headquarters are locally here in Rancho Cucamonga. The young lady that we dealt with by the name of Taylor is actually a Chino resident, a local graduate of Ontario Christian High School, and now working for this company. And as Councilmember Lucio mentioned during his site visit, there's something to be said for when a company like this comes in and does affordable housing in the correct manner. One of the problems that I see with the housing legislation and some of the mandates that are coming from the state in their effort to advance affordable housing, some of the mandates that they're imposing upon some of the cities are actually allowing for developers to come in and develop higher density projects at market value because of the bonuses that are assigned to a percentage of affordable housing. And that is, I think, some of the council members' grind in advancing some of these projects or some of this legislation, because it can be seen as a workaround to advancing truly affordable housing that will help us to meet our regional housing needs assessments in the future. Some people would say, well, you know, the developers are just using the laws that have been passed to help them develop land. And I do understand that, but those development projects aren't truly helping our RENA numbers and helping us to provide affordable housing to a labor force and to people who need it. I know that when Mark was there, he heard a testimonial of a teacher. We actually were there that day and heard a testimonial of a young woman who served in the United States Marine Corps, who after her discharge, you know, fell upon some hard times and was homeless in this local area prior to being on a waiting list for a very long period of time to find housing there, and how grateful she was to find affordable housing. Now, mind you, the unit that we visited in that area, at market value, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a very modest 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a kitchen, probably would cost somewhere in the area of $3,600 to $3,700 a month to rent. But under the affordability clause for this, those residents there would still be paying about $2,200 a month. So that's still a steep price to pay for that for people who are on a limited budget. But what was most impressive was the wraparound services that were provided there, including services from the YMCA, Hope for Families. The project across the street included a preschool, and just how well managed and maintained that the project was. What's impressive about companies like National Corps is they make sure that that project is sustainable into the future and will pay for itself. So all of the units there that were constructed were affordable with the exception of 1 or 2 managers' units. So that's the type of projects that I think you know, communities can really get their mind around to help people live in safe, well-constructed, affordable housing. That is what I think we're truly trying to advance. That's, you know, crime-free. People that are living there are provided with good housing at a fair market, you know, at an affordable price, and help them into the future. I can't say enough good things about that site visit with our staff today, and I hope that we do business with a company like them or similar to them in the future. On September 16th, I attended my meeting with the city manager, mayor, and that brings me to this evening's council meeting. I just also wish to convey my deepest sympathy to the entire Yates family for the passing of former Chino Mayor Dennis Yates. I had the privilege of knowing Mayor Yates for many, many years, not just as a young woman, but as a professional at the police department. He truly cared about Chino. There's several favorite memories I have that I will share for his celebration of life on December 5th, but like so many other members in public service, whether it be in safety of our staff or members on this dais, Dennis was just a profound personality and person in our community. He carried himself with a no-nonsense manner when it came to conducting city business or dealing with developers or people, I think, that wanted to come into Chino during a critical time. You know, there's a story about the development of Ayala Park and a developer who wanted to have the city be advanced, you know, the ability to construct homes in College Park. And Dennis Yates was one of the people who stood firm and said, along with the rest of the council, no, you help construct our park first, and then we'll help you, develop these houses in our community. I viewed him and other members of this council of this era, but particularly Dennis, as a protector, a guardian of Chino. But his biggest heart was actually for kids. He loved youth sports. He loved youth sports programs. He was a tremendous supporter of the Chino Police Explorer program. His granddaughter was a member of that Explorer program for many years, and a big supporter of local public safety. Dennis was a good man. His legacy will live on in the community for a long time. And my condolences and my deepest sympathy to Rosemary and his entire family. And Mayor, that was a nice tribute that you read to him tonight before the meeting. That concludes my comments for tonight, Mayor.
Councilman Burton.
Thank you, Mayor. On September 4th, I attended the welcome and swearing in ceremony at the Chino Police Department, which also included some recent promotions. Chief, congratulations. A lot of new people coming on board, and you've got to be very, very proud of your accomplishments as far as staffing is concerned. Being part of the organization for over 30 years, I couldn't have been more proud to stand there and watch what was unfolding before me. You're doing an outstanding job, as well as all of your staff there, Chief. So congratulations. On the 6th, I attended the SBCTA Bridge ribbon cutting along with the mayor and Councilmember Flores. It was a hot day that day. The fans did provide a little bit of relief because there was a little bit of breeze. But I think it just kind of heated up because Councilmember Flores was sitting next to me. That's another story.
Oh.
On the 9th, I attended media training here with staff in the council chambers, my one-on-one with the city manager, and I met with a Chino Valley Unified School District Board candidate on that day as well. On the 10th, I attended Coffee with a Cop at Flo's. Again, a very nice event. Chief, great job again. Our police officers interacting with our community, couldn't be prouder. Also on the 10th, I attended a meeting out at Rhodes Elementary School with our staff, Dennis Rawls, our traffic engineers, and Chino Police Department, members of the Chino Valley Unified School District, to try to figure out their traffic issue at Rhodes that faces San Antonio. It's complete and total gridlock, as you can imagine, with any elementary school. I know that our staff, as well as the school district staff, we're going to get that resolved. They're doing a great job out there. I appreciate the interaction that we had as a staff out there with the school district. So thank you very much. And then on later that evening, we had a council workshop. On the 11th, I attended the mayor's prayer breakfast. And then after that, the mayor and I attended the Chino Valley Fire District 9/11 Memorial Service. Chief, thank you very much for that. Your folks do a great job, and thank you for hosting that year in and year out. I know it's just, it hits home, and I appreciate the work that you folks do over there, and you just had a really nice showing that day, so thank you very much. On the 16th, my one-on-one with the city manager, and then I attended the West End Animal Services Agency, which is our new JPA for animal services, as the mayor kind of alluded to a moment ago about leaving IVHS. We had a briefing with staff to discuss budget issues, and I would request, City Manager Wright, that if all of the council members could get a copy of that budget, I'd appreciate it, so they could take a look at what's going on as well. And then that concludes it. I also want to offer my condolences to the Yates family. I knew Dennis pretty well when he first came on to the city council, but before that, when he was very, very involved with the football league, Gino Pop Warner, just a larger-than-life personality, and he loved to joke around and have a great time, but when it was time to get serious, there was no fooling around with him. It was, let's take care of business and take care of it right. Let's do it right the first time. So, again, my condolences to the Yates family. And Mayor, that's all I have for this evening's report.
Okay, oops. Councilmember Flores, you also have item number 17.
I do, Mayor, thank you. And item number 17, I'm asking for approval for Community Support Fund contributions of $500 to You Choose Positive Youth.
Okay, we need a motion and a second. We have a motion from Councilman Burton, second from Councilman Lucio. Please vote. Okay, your item is passed unanimously.
Thank you for that, and I'll start with my report. On the 5th of September, I attended the SBCTA Bridge ribbon cutting as well. And just a side note, many of you guys have Facebook accounts, and sometimes I have fun going up and down Chino Connects. And when we got when we got our emblem there over the bridge, and it was a great turnout. But one comment I kept seeing was whether the bridge was kind of lopsided. You guys may have got that, or you guys may have not. But to the community I'm addressing it, I guess what I've concluded through my resources is that it's only an optical illusion that you're looking at. So keep that in mind.
It's only a lopsided one.
On the 10th of September, I attended the Special Needs Collaboration event. That was our last meeting before the actual event on the 14th, which I attended as well. And it was just a great turnout, and we're going to have a follow-up meeting, and I'm sure we may have some presentations about it, so I'll kind of save my comments for that day. And on the 10th, I also attended the council workshop with the rest of the council. I want to conclude by mentioning three things. Our police chief mentioned or gave a report on Prop 36, and I guess I'd like to let the community know that I'm definitely behind this as well, and I'd be voting yes on that as well. And some general questions I had about that, and I didn't ask them during the presentation. I'd figure I'd ask them after, Chief. But regarding our homeless, our uptick in homeless, I'm wondering where some of these individuals are coming from, if they're born and raised here in Chino, or they're coming from other cities, and whether some of these immigration issues that we see in other cities, other states, if any, if we're seeing an uptick in immigrant homelessness here in our city. For our fire chief, I want to let you know I've been thinking about you for 2 whole weeks. I have to say that, and I mentioned this to Charlene after the meeting, but your comments about the young man who won the skating awards. I went back and I rewatched our council meeting, and I appreciate your comments towards him, because he did really thank his parents multiple times, and he stood true to his faith, and he acknowledged his faith as well. And during my comments, I didn't mention that, but I just think it was so powerful for you to see that in him, because like you mentioned last time, definitely skateboarding does get a bad rep sometimes, and that's not the case. I'm out there I'm around the skate park, sometimes skating myself, and there's a lot of good young men over there. Speaking of young men, we have 3 young men in here with us today from Ayala High School. And thank you guys for mustering up the courage to introduce yourselves. I want you to know that you guys definitely are our future. And this council's mentioned it multiple times, but we'd love to see more, activity and more involvement from our young men. So I want to let you 3 know, and I see one of your mothers is sitting there as well, that this council definitely has, we have, I guess the word I'm looking for is, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word right now, but this council definitely, I guess, is expecting of you to, number one, graduate from high school with high grades, and give back to our community in the future in one way or another, and that can be done in many ways. But you definitely have a good support system with this council and the city behind you. And I know Ayala's in Chino Hills. I'm sorry to hear that, but nonetheless, City of Chino definitely wants to invest in your future. And I just want to, I guess, conclude with just giving my condolences to the Yates family as well. I didn't have a chance to meet Mayor Yates or anything of that nature. I guess that's what happens when you're the new kid on the block. But I heard a lot of great things, and I see Charlene sitting out there as well from Isaiah's Rock, and she shared a lot of great memories at Isaiah's Rock and, at Yates Head as well. And Mayor, actually, I want to add one more thing. I know a part of what you do with some of our youth that come, you ask them to introduce themselves. And I'm not going to ask him to introduce himself, but we have a friend that is from all the way from Kansas Emporia with us today. He's in the red shirt there. His name is Donald Wang, and he was an international student at one point, and he lived at the Blue House, and but now he's gone off to do some great and amazing things. He has a nice, beautiful wife, and they have a beautiful daughter, Amelia, and they're doing some great things over there. So, Donald, welcome back to the city of Chino. That concludes my comments, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, well, you know what, Chris? Maybe these students go to Ayala High, but they came to the Chino City Council.
And Chris, remember, skateboarding is not a crime.
He's biased because he's a skateboarder. Councilman Lucio.
Yes, on September 9th, I attended a neighborhood watch meeting in next to my old neighborhood, and the chief was out there as well as many members of his staff. I will say it was a great turnout. There was probably high 30s, maybe 40 people that showed up there. They were interested in potentially putting up cameras similar to what I was told that Mayor Pro Tem Concept has in her neighborhood. And it was just it was a good turnout. Thank you, Chief, for going out there and talking to them out there. I think you made them feel really comfortable. I did address to them because I do walk in that neighborhood. It's pretty close to my house. They have a lot of streetlights that are out in their neighborhood, which makes their neighborhood very, very dark. So I told them that it's incumbent upon the residents to go out there, get the poll numbers, and then report that to my Chino app to get those lights fixed. Because if your neighborhood is dark, we don't have people that really drive around at night too much that target those things. So if the community members see that their streetlights are out or the streetlights are out in their neighborhoods, it's important for them to report it, especially, to deter crime. They also had some comments that some of the trees are overgrown and they start blocking the lights. And they said that they were told that they won't topple they won't top the trees. But I told them that if it was impeding the lights and it was making the neighborhood dark, that we would look at that and then possibly do those things, because obviously we want the neighborhoods to be lit up. But if you can, put that out maybe in something so that people are aware to report their street lights when they're out, because I'll tell you that neighborhood is very, very dark, and they were, one of the residents there was a victim of a burglary, and so that community was really kind of shocked because nothing really happens there, so it was the first time. And but it was a great turnout by the community. Everybody's got everybody's phone numbers, and that's really what community meetings are supposed to be about. So I encourage all the communities to do that amongst themselves, and if they need help from the police department, please reach out to them. They'll be more than happy to help facilitate those type of meetings, but that was a really good turnout. On the 10th, I attended an affordable housing of Southern California conference with Assistant City Manager Jackie Melendez. And there was people there that were financing, obviously, for affordable housing, as well as developers, and then people that put those deals together. So you had people from the county, different cities, and from the state that were up there as well. So Jackie does what she does, and she mingles with everybody. So she was able to get some phone numbers for some people, and hopefully we can do some things here with people that are truly looking at affordable housing, not the developers that will give you 9 units and then develop 200 market rates. So we're hoping that something like that is able to come here. So hopefully that conference pans out for us. Then later on that night, I attended the council workshop. On the 16th, I had a meeting with the city manager, and then we had media training, the mayor and I. And then on the 17th, which was today, I remotely attended the Chaffey College Community Center Oversight Committee meeting. And the last thing one of the last things I want to say is that it's my son's birthday, so I want to wish him a happy birthday. I had the pleasure of moving him into his dorm today at Cal Poly St. Louis Obispo, and then I had the pleasure of driving 5 hours back. But I did make it to the council meeting, so that was the important thing. And then I also want to say my condolences to the Yates family. I also didn't have the opportunity to talk to Mayor Yates. I didn't know him personally, but, I've lived here since 2003, so I was able to experience his leadership here within the community. So he was the face of the city. He always was a man with a deep voice, and he appeared to be very charismatic whenever I saw him interacting with the community. So my condolences to him, and I just, my prayers are with his family. That's all I have. Thank you.
City Manager Reich, anything this evening?
No report, Mayor.
City Attorney Galante.
No report either. Thank you.
Police Chief Menson.
Thank you, Mayor. First, thank you, Councilmember Lucio, for attending that neighborhood watch meeting. That was, and setting that up, help coordinating with, that was probably one of the largest attended neighborhood watch meeting I've been to in a long time. Councilmember Flores, regarding the homeless, I'll answer that question. I know some other people may have that. Although, and I talked about the significant increase of homelessness, according to the point in time count on the county's website, our homeless number was, although it's gone up, is the second lowest in the county. And I think our number was at 42, which that number, it's really higher than that from they did the count, where these other cities was in the hundreds from here in the San Bernardino County. As far as where they're coming from, it's all over the place. And to say that, although I have not seen immigration play a factor in it, but yes, they are coming from all over the country. Obviously, we have a safe community. I think that attracts it to one extent. But our team works really hard if they have family members or they can't get to another state where they're trying to go, is to relocate, get them back with a family member. And we had the funds to be able to do that. And like I said, we were looking for long-term solutions when dealing with the homelessness. Councilmember Burton, thank you, sir, for attending our welcome ceremony. We still have police officer vacancies. We are hiring for police officers. We look for that tie to the Chino Valley when we're hiring. One of them that we swore in, one of the two academy graduates was a Don Lugo High School graduate. So she is now in the field training program, but we have vacancies for police officers when we are hiring. Woo-woo. Yes. And then
just for the record, I want you to know that I'm also in support of Proposition 36. It's unanimous amongst the council, but I just wanted to make sure that you understood that I'm also in support.
Thank you, sir. I did not doubt that you weren't. And then this Friday is the milk can game at Chino High School at 7 o'clock. And so we will have all of our SROs there, making sure that people can enjoy the football game safely. I don't know, were you announcing this, or did you turn that back over to Commissioner Jerry Neal?
No, Neil Jerry is in the audience. Neil, can you stand up in the back? Neil Jerry is the voice of the Don Lugo High School Conquistadors. He will. Yes, he will assume that, but he won't be doing it this. Right, he won't be doing it at Chino High School. The man's amazing at Don Lugo, though. I want you to know that.
Okay. All right. That's thank you, Mr. Jerry. That concludes my statement. Just my condolences, obviously, to Rosemary and the Yates family, being working here in the city for as long as I have, and being a former POA president and CPMA president, having interactions with Mayor Yates, and he always told you how he felt. And if you did something wrong there he didn't agree with, he had no problem with letting you know. But a great leader and truly going to be missed. So that concludes my statements.
Kevin, I have a question. The community meeting that you and Councilman Lucio spoke about, we used to have pretty active neighborhood watch groups. Do you think it's worth trying to get those kicked up again?
So we are always working hard to form a neighborhood watch group. And whether it's obviously COVID, everything went away. And
Right.
so we're still bringing it back. And any time that we can find a group of neighbors, we are pushing the neighborhood watch meeting. And this one, really started by, there was a husband and wife, and they're a victim of a burglary. And, it's not normal. I mean, it's a very safe community, so it's very abnormal for that to occur in this neighborhood. And so when I heard about it, I personally went to their house to make contact with them, to talk to them about it. And then we presented the idea of, hey, what do you think about having a neighborhood watch meeting? And he was all over it. He went out, and I think he put flyers to 70 some odd residents throughout his neighborhood, and got a huge turnout. And so now based on that, and they exchanged names, and we're forming this now a neighborhood watch. So we are constantly pushing if we can get a group of neighbors to form that neighborhood watch. So because it is very effective.
I think it would be worthwhile to maybe get with Jackie and maybe do a concerted effort to reinvigorate those neighborhood watch groups, because they certainly do help. I know even in our neighborhood, we don't have an official neighborhood watch, but if anything happens, boy, phone calls start going around so that everybody knows something's happening. So maybe we can do a promotion and maybe get some of those groups going again.
Yeah, we could work on that. We can advertise it through social media.
I think it would be good.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions for Kevin? Okay. Next, we have our director's report. Any directors this evening have a report? Okay. Well, now it's Fire Chief Williams' turn. We leave the best till last, right?
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. I just want to give a little bit of background real quick on what I can talk about regarding the ambulance status. So part of this is for the community's purview that's not real familiar with it. So some time back, the county decided they were going to go out for a request for proposal for ambulance services. There were essentially two bidders through the CONFIRE Joint Powers Authority, which is the dispatch center that services several of the fire agencies in the county. We put in our bid. AMR, the local provider, put in their bid. The county awarded the bid to CONFIRE, which essentially meant, and that was part of Chino Valley Fire District, what we would be awarded the bid. AMR had protested that, filed a lawsuit. There was a hearing about a week ago, and at that point, the judge did award AMR their injunctive relief. So they asked for, filed an injunctive relief to ask for a stay on the decision until the court could hear what their concerns were holistically. So unfortunately for us at this point, the judge did award that injunctive relief to AMR. So what does that mean? That means that they're going to maintain the ambulance services for now until the case gets heard at the next level. And so at this point, as a CONFIRE member and representative of our desire to run ambulance services, we will have to look to the county for the next steps in this process. That's really all I have on that, but I did want the community to know, I wanted the mayor and the board to know that that's where it currently stands. So we're looking to the county for what the next legal options would be for us to continue to request that we be provided that RFP.
Chief,
Is there anything that we can do to help you as a council?
At this point, there is not. I think what's happening now is the legal team at CONFIRE has joined up with the legal team at the county to discuss options. As soon as we have some understanding of what the next steps are, I will certainly inform the council, and if there's any support. I know that you've been supportive of this process, and we'll certainly make that request at that time.
Okay.
Councilmember Burton?
Yeah, I appreciate your briefing on this. I know that originally we were talking about possibly October. However, that's obviously changed. You said it's going to go to the next level. Do we have an approximate time frame of when it may be heard again? So we haven't.
We do. So even though this is still just about a couple weeks away, we are still poised and ready as the CONFIRE JPA to take the services over. Just so that you have an understanding of all the preparation. CONFIRE JPA, in partnership with our priority ambulance partner, they actually stood up a factory and built ambulances because we couldn't get them, to the tune of, I think, of about 138 ambulances. Fortunately for us at Chino, we had already had ours that we secured during that COVID process. So we are still poised to take over October 1st, should we be provided that opportunity. My understanding is the next date beyond that is October 8th. that the Confire JPA administrative members, or at least the director, interim director, along with, and council, along with somebody from the AMR group, will get back together, I believe, probably in a room with a judge and decide where to go from here. So that's all I know at this point.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you on that.
Just
So,
informed.
two more quick things. First, I wanted to say thank you very much to the council for attending our 9/11 ceremony. I think, at least since I've been the fire chief, this was the largest gathering, and I would have expected it to be a couple years ago when we had the big one, 20-year. But this was a very big gathering, which is really just, our folks appreciate that, the never forget. And so it was, a lot of community members came out, a lot of the council members came out, so we appreciate that. Brings me to the next event for us, which is October 24th. At 11:15 to 1 is our State of the District, which will be hosted at Station 61. So for those of you that are not aware, please come and join us on that, and we'd love to see you. And then my final comment, Councilmember Flores, thank you so much for the recognition of the comments I made. And for the gentlemen that are sitting back here, you guys may not know my son, you may or may not know him, Dominic Williams. He goes to school with you guys. You have my permission to give him a hard time. Thank Coach Allen. Thank Coach Allen for bringing you guys here. I want to encourage you, this is how government gets done. That's why you're here. And you truly are the leaders of our community going forward. So if any of you want to be in the fire service and the police services, we're here for you. If you want to be something greater than that, you can look up here to your leadership. And this is how the business of the place that you live gets done, by this great leadership. And so we're here for you if you need us. That's all.
Thank you. I'd also like to thank the mom for bringing the kids, too. It's a late night tonight. All right, with that, we will adjourn to our regular meeting that will be held on Tuesday, October 1st at 6 o'clock, with closed session no earlier than 4. With that, we are adjourned.